축복을 선언하겠습니다. 평안하십시오. 당신은 세계 살릴 선교사입니다. 너희가 그 땅을 차지할 것이라.
You will take the land that I promised.
오늘 이 한 시간의 예배가 하나님의 약속을 붙잡고
The praises and the worship service at this very moment will be aligned to God's will. We are the people, children of the covenant, and we must be aligned to God's will. No matter how your heart, your walk of faith is, and you are doing your walk of faith, the most important part is that grabbing hold of God's will and you are aligned to God, that God will open every door to you. And this very moment, even you are not aligned with God, aligned to God, and you are in different directions, but you will grab hold of the covenant and you will be in the same directions with God. The title for today is The Last Mission. His last mission with his disciples. As time goes by, the life is getting difficult. And more troubles will come to you while living on this earth. But do not be discouraged or startled. Big troubles and small troubles, they will be coming to you. But in the midst of this trouble, don't need to be nervous or afraid, because the Bible tells us about the last scene of the life and of this earth, and in the book of Timothy and the Revelations, it's been already shown to us. And the sure thing is that no matter what happens, we have a way to solve this problem. How can we solve this problem? We have the answer here in this passage. Many things will happen to you. How can we deal with this? Today's passage is about Jesus tested to his disciples the last mission. And he was praying with his disciples. And two things we can realize this. And first thing is a set time schedule. And the other thing is the mystery of prayers. You are attending this service today. If you do not understand, if you don't know about this time schedule of God, then you are exactly the same with non-Christian. Even you are not non-believers, but you are still the same thing and doing the same thing with non-Christians. And especially we have the week of children today. And we might say that we need to treat them really well, but how can you treat them well? And this passage tells us that how we can treat them, how can we raise them in a correct way. Then if they grow up, then they will never leave his words. And what can we do? What is the most important thing for us to do for the children? According to his words, then we have to teach them how to open their eyes toward this Bible. And if they open their eyes to this Spirit, in every situation, every area, every field, then they will be the evangelist who will save this field. And another thing is that we must teach them how to actualize and how to experience the Spirit in their field. And we are preparing all the summer events and remnant conference. And before these trainings, and Pastor Liu talked very importantly about this. Then we must prepare everything that all the remnants who can be prepared, grabbing hold of the very important covenant and meditating on His words. Then we must give them time for them to prepare themselves to receive His words. The fourth industrial revolution. In this era, if you lose all the mystery of the prayers, then indeed it's going to be very difficult for you to live on earth. And for the next posterity, then the sure things for us to do for children is that we must teach them to open their eyes to see the Spirit, and in the midst of all the problems in the fields, they will be victorious on the platform of all the troubles faced to them. Then if they recover the two things only, then no matter where they are, they will be victorious. First of all, the mystery of time schedule that the church members must find. The time schedule, the mystery of time schedule that the church members must find. He's a governor of all creatures, and He is a creator of all these matters on earth, and He's taking care of all peoples, all things, and all matters. He is God. So in one word, in our walk of faith, the most important thing is that God's absolute sovereignty. Sure thing is that God is taking care of every matter and everything and everyone. It's not all things are not by accident. He's taking care of all things, all peoples. In other words, and He is governing non-Christians as well as Christians. In the book of Bible, Acts chapter 2 verse 23, this Jesus delivered up according to divine plan and foreknowledge of God. He crucified and killed by the hand of the lawless man. It's like definite plan and foreknowledge of God. That means God knows this plan already in advance, and He is achieving every single definite plan. Ephesians chapter 1 verse 9, that making known to us the mystery of His wills according to His purpose. Romans chapter 8 verse 29, and for those whom He foreknew, He also predestined to be conformed to the image of His Son. Like He foreknew that He already predestined to be conformed. He already planned in advance. And with this absolute knowledge, He's guiding us. And Paul knew this plan. And Romans chapter 11:33, how unsearchable are His judgment and how inscrutable His ways. And the depth of riches and wisdom and knowledge of God. How accurate and how perfect His plan was. And in this Bible, then even He knows the number of hairs that we have. Even He knows that He counted all the hairs of us, and He's governing us everything. Romans chapter 11 verse 36, then everything is coming from Jesus, the Lord, and everything goes back to Jesus.
하나님께 영광과
So we have no choice but to give praises and worship to the Lord.
하나님의 일을
And the sure thing is that God is achieving His will according to His plan.
시간표에
That is right, then that is God's will and God's plan, that we must align to God's will.
시간표 따라서 우리를 인도해 나가시는데
God is guiding us to the perfect moment, the perfect time schedule of His. So we must align ourselves to God's will. That is our walk of faith.
제 집회 가운데 말씀을
Last week we had a conference and
우리에게 있어서 가장 중요한 것은
all the training sessions that he gave the message, like the most important thing is not my own thought, but God's thought. That is the walk of faith. That is gospel, and that is walk of faith. So many people think that it's my own thoughts, but you must go back to God's will, God's thought. That's the walk of faith.
나의 현장이 아니라 하나님의 현장.
That's not my field, but God's field. You must find the things in God's field. That is walk of faith. That is the life of your walk of faith. What is the meaning that you find your God's walk of faith? With Emmanuel and recreation. You must find these three things in your field. Then you are living according to God's will and your work of faith. It's not your own work, but you must find God's work. That is the life of evangelist. If you are really child of God, God is still guiding us to His will and His time schedules, and even no matter how smart and how successful this person is, if he's not within God's will, then he has nothing to do with God. Then what is the core message of the walk of faith? That's Jesus Christ. So in the Old Testament, there was a time that people are waiting for the Messiah to come as Jesus Christ. And now, we are waiting for His second coming to conclude all His missions. That is your life and your walk of faith. And Hebrews chapter 13 verse 8, Jesus is the same yesterday and today and forever. Revelation 1:4, grace to you and peace for Him who is and who was and who is to come. Christ is always there. Revelation 22:13, I am the Alpha and Omega, and the first and the last, and the beginning and the end. That is Jesus Christ. And this Christ, the Lord is already given all the messages to His people. That is the way of God. How can you find this God's timetable? You can find His timetable within God's words that is already given to us. Genesis chapter 3 verse 15, we are separated from God, and through this then that every problem comes to us, and we call it sin. And we are in the midst of destiny done by the evil spirits, but we're given the answer already to get out of these troubles. That is Genesis chapter 3 verse 15. The offspring of a woman will crush the head of Satan. Then Abraham succeeded, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph. They all succeeded in this because they grab hold of this answer first. And Abraham, in the book of Genesis chapter 18, verse 17, do you think that shall I hide from Abraham what I'm about to do? That God already gave us this glorious words and He is heading forward. And Revelation 1:3, and it's talking about the last scene of our life. And bless the one who reads out aloud the words of his prophecy. And blessed are those who hear and who keep what is written in it. And then if it's right, then we're grabbing hold of the covenants this week, then God is giving, at this very moment, God is giving the words that we can accomplish in our fields. During this week and every moment, every evening, every morning, God is supposed to give us the message that we must follow. Then the answers from the Lord is already given to us to start with. And the most important thing is that the moment you realize the importance of God's word, then God will work on you. John chapter 4, it's about his second miracle. If you take this from verse 46, then there was a son of the fisher. He was sick and he knew that Jesus was here, and he asked Jesus to heal him. And Jesus said to the official, said that your son will live. And this chapter, this man actually believed, and verse 50 says that he believed the word that Jesus spoke to him and went on his way. And he believed this word. And his servants met him and told him that his son was recovering. Your son is healed. Then this officer said that when he was getting better, then they said, yesterday at 7 hour that the fever left him. That was the moment he received the word from Jesus Christ. And during this week, receiving his words, then if you have these confidence moments that you receive these words to your hearts, then these words will be accomplished in your field. Last week, when I went to one of the church members' house, and at this place, before I'm coming to this house, and I just read the report of this family, and they are in the background of the non-Christian family. And this deaconess of this church, and I just read these family members, as I just saw the man's name that I could recognize easily, and I was curious about him, and it was sure that I knew him. How could I remember him until now? Then when I was pastor of these elementary schoolers, that he always came to church. He used to come to church very early moment. Come to church very earlier than other kids. Then I asked him, how can you come to this church early? And he said, my father really doesn't want me to come to church, so I can't even show my Bible book to him. So I always hide this book outside of the house. Then before he's getting up, I need to sneak out of the house. Then I just prepare myself and my brother to come to church. And he was the first one who come to church every week, and he prepared and he just joined the Bible school. So my heart, and I thought that he must grow up very well for this. And his father always tore the church, the books, the Bibles tore up, and he always stopped the family members come to church. His father. Then this deaconess had a really hard time to come to church, and one day he took her husband to one of the botanical gardens there, and she said that I cannot live this way anymore. You must let me go to church and have this walk of faith. But first, he said that you will not. But she said that then I cannot live with you. In the end, he just cried, and then you can go to church. Then she had a chance to come to church then. After that, then the message about this conversation 1 week after this conversation was about the blessing of the Abraham. It was really surprising things that the last week I went to this house, then I gave them the same message that I gave them at the time. Then she said, when I went to the church, and the first message was this, and the same thing is given to us now. Then her children, they're all coming to church, and it's really thankful. The moment they realized Jesus Christ, and they just start the moment that they received the love of God. Whenever you come to church, how can you deal with this word? At this very moment, and through these perfect messages, and this servant of the Lord is giving me this message, then I will achieve this message. And when you grab hold of this as your covenant, then this will be actualized in your field, in your life. What is the reason that his disciples failed? Already Jesus talked to them in advance, but they didn't take it at heart. We didn't read this verse, but Matthew chapter 26, verse 2. You know that after 2 days the Passover is coming, and the Son of Man will be delivered up to be crucified. And today's passage is about from 31st. And then you will all fall away. Then I will go to Galilee. I will go before you to Galilee. And they just deny that we will never fall away. But his disciples didn't take his words with their hearts. And if they had taken this at their heart, then they wouldn't have failed their walk of faith when Jesus was captured. But they just denied Jesus Christ, and they just ran away. Through his words, then if they have confidence in his words, then they are within the time schedule of God. When you receive God's words, and then when you can conform, then you are sure that you are with God. That is the time that is the moment that you are aligned to God. when you are heavy laden and your heart is really heavy, then you are not aligned with God. Just you are working really hard, that's it. So everything has its own timetable. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1, then everything there is a season. And Psalm chapter 90 verse 12 says that there is a time schedule, that God always gives us these words every moment. So you must grab hold of this time schedule in His words. And He was about to sum up all His missions with His disciples, and He said that you must pray. Then they didn't follow His timetable, then they just failed. You must find His words, within His words, then you will be aligned to His words and His will. Second, the ultimate mystery of the church members, the ultimate mystery of God that all church members must enjoy. Without knowing this, then you are just not enjoying. But you must enjoy the mystery of God, the mystery of prayers. That everything is blurred and getting dark. Everything is unclear if you do not know about this mystery of prayers, and everything is failure and your life is really difficult and your life is very unclear. No matter what other people says, that you are living very unclear life without knowing this mystery of prayers. Many people understood what the prayer is about. Of course, you must receive the answers. And some people say that I solved the problems by praying. Then some people might say that to receive answers, you must pray. And each family member has their own prayer request, and they have their purpose and their motives. But all things are religious, just like religious actions. But interestingly, so many people are living in these religious rituals. But if you are religious, then you will receive the answers about the religious things. Then in the book of Matthew, that as time goes by, they will be heavy laden. Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. You must not be religious, but you must pray about the gospel. It's about like you are enjoying the relationship with lives. You must get into these prayers that help you to receive the matter of life. Genesis chapter 39 verse 2. Then Joseph was about a man who communicated with God. And he just completely changed the situations and the circumstances surrounding into gospel-centered situations. Joseph was in prison, but even in this situation, he was with God and he was with the gospel, and this prison was turned into the place of the blessing. Genesis chapter 41, verse 38. And Pharaoh saw this person, Joseph, for the first time, and he said this to him, that how can you find a man like this in whom he is the Spirit of God? And he said to his servants, like, how can we get this kind of person with the Spirit of God for the first time? And Pharaoh saw this man with the Spirit of God, who is enjoying the blessing of God, was a greeting of the early church members in Jesus Christ. And Paul always greeted like this in Jesus Christ and the covenants of God. He was within the blessing of the relationship with God and with lives. So he could do this. Philippians chapter 4 verse 13. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. He could see where he was correctly, and he was within God who strengthens him, because his relationship with God's power, and then he could do everything. That is, confess his faith like this. You must get into the prayers that you can enjoy the lives, the relationship with God. Then it could be the platform that's all every station will turn into blessing. And there was a man, very successful and respectable man, and he was a lawyer. And his family actually his family died in the big fire, and his possessions all gone. And because of this big fire, he lost everything. His possessions and his family. And this man need a rest. And he rested his family members and went to Europe to take a rest. Then he stepped forward, and his wife were really sincere Christians, and they were Bible study teachers, and he just joined the organization of Moody, and Moody was doing his movement of the Christian, and before, just a few minutes before going to Europe, he just got off the ship, and his wife and his 4 daughters were on board. This ship was collided with another ship, and they were drowned. And his wife barely, and his 4 daughters died, but except for his wife. And he received a letter from his wife. Then he tried to deal with this problem. He went to Europe to find his wife, and it was a big wave there. In the midst of this storm, then this captain came to him and approached them and said that this is the place your 4 daughters died. And he resented God. Why could let me face this situation? I just lived for the gospel. Then why could you give me this serious moment and problems? And with this resentment, he went to a small room in the ship. Then he started praying. Why this happened to me? Why did you let me face this situation? Then he started having peace in his heart. Then he started writing. Then he started writing like, my soul is peaceful. Even though the evil spirit tried to engulf us, tried to attack me, but God is with us. And this evil spirit cannot destroy us and attack us. Our captain, the Lord, is with us, and I'm in peace. It's not about like He's made of peace, but it's about the peace from God. That means whoever enjoys the mystery of life and everything, nothing can be possible, but nothing can be a problem. So let's get into these blessings with God. Daniel chapter 6 verse 10. When Daniel knew that the God, he always enjoyed his words and he denied his worshipping idols, and he could die, but he could deal with this situation that he was just about to die. And the characteristics of the people who were used for his words is that the person who enjoyed the mysteries of prayers. David was in the delight of prayers. The moment that he was delighted the most is that the moment that he was near the Lord. Psalm chapter 74 verse 28. But for me it is good to be near God. I've made the Lord God my refuge, that I may tell of all your works. There is a true peace of God. And that is the mystery of the ability to possess happily. That is the prayer, the power of prayers. Then you can enjoy this power of prayers in your life. He has the habit of prayers all the time. Jesus Christ as well. Luke chapter 22 verse 39. And Jesus prayed on the mountain of Olives. He came out and went, as was his custom, to the mountain of Olives. And the disciples followed him. He was always in the habit of prayers. So in the daily life, you must enjoy the mystery of God. Then if you find a crisis, then you will find answers as well. Daniel chapter 6 verse 10. He just prayed with a delight heart and a thankful heart that he prayed. He faced the problems. So many people tried to kill him, and they just document had been signed to kill him. But in his upper chamber, he just grabbed hold of the covenant and prayed. And he prayed in Jerusalem because he had answer. Then in the midst of Christ, then you can find this true answer. Then they can enjoy the answer from the Lord. If you lose hold of the covenants, then even you are in a kind of material peace. But if you face the true difficulties, then you cannot avoid this. You cannot deal with this. But in the daily life, if you are in the mysteries of prayers, then no matter what happens to you, then you can deal with this. You can overcome all these difficulties in your life. If there is a mystery to save the world, then nobody can take this. But you can, as the mystery of praise, the Ephesians chapter 6 verse 18. All the time, praying at all times in spirit, with all prayer and supplication. And 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 17, pray without ceasing. Romans chapter 1 verse 9, and also no choice but to save Rome. Where did it start? Paul said, without seeing, I mention you. I mentioned in my prayer, always in my prayers, that in the end, Rome received this gospel. You must pray in your custom, and you must all the time pray without ceasing. Then when you face the difficulties, then you can find the correct translation with the correct answers and correct knowledge from the Lord. Even they faced the death, that was the early church members received answers on the face of crisis. They did not cease praying, but they always praised in their customs. Let us come to the conclusion. The completion of making disciples is that you complete the perfect prayers. You must receive and recover the prayers in your life, and you open the door to meet God. And with this power of prayers, then you will receive the answers from the Lord. I pray in Jesus' holy wonderful name. Father God, thank you. Even so many difficulties and problems come to us. Well, if we see, as long as we see your will and your plans, then we can overcome everything. As long as we enjoy the blessings of the mysterious prayers, then we will win over these problems. Please let all these church members open their hearts to see this plan. And the next posterities will receive these prayers. I pray in Jesus' holy wonderful name. Amen.